Come on in, guys. Come on in. Coming in. Everything is just haywire, guys. Everything is just haywire. I gotta show y'all my adventure today. We gotta talk about this Melania gay. Oh my goodness. Jasmine Crockett. The website. It's just so much going on. Load on in. Load on in. We gotta talk. Friday. Happy Friday, you guys. Happy Friday. Oh my goodness. Are y'all awake? I know y'all ain't at the club. We got too much to do for y'all to be at the club. You might as well get on in here. You might as well get on in here. Shut alive. Shut alive. Get on in here. Ain't nobody in here talk about nothing anyway. Shut alive. Get on in here. We gotta talk. We gotta talk. Yo, first of all, so I don't know how long some of you have been on my channel, um, but I want to start off with a little adventure that happened to me today. So I had to be like 2021 or something when I first started doing like genealogy and stuff on here, finding people land and stuff. I don't know how many of y'all remember, but I went to the Atlanta airport. I had a family on here looking for their relatives. And like when you're dealing with genealogy and when you're dealing with heirs property, it can get tricky with the records. Because if you don't know where the person died, then it's kind of hard to find their vital statistics if they're not archived in the system. So for example, some people's vital statistics is still on microfilm. I'm just telling y'all about my story today as y'all log in. Some people's vital, can y'all hear me? Hey y'all, hey everybody. I'm just down here yapping because I want to tell y'all the story because I'm excited about it. So some people's some people's vital statistics are still on microfilm. So if you don't know where that ancestor was buried, then you don't know where to find these files. So if you can find their burial, then you can go to that county and get the death certificates and things of that nature that's related to that relative. So the Fife family reached out to me, had to be on 2021. Whenever I was doing genealogy on this channel, they were in my live, and that led me, we had a whole conversation with them about their family history and stuff. Anyway, I ended up trying to locate their family, guys, and they knew the story about the airport. Da 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 da. That's what led me to doing going out to the airport to try to find their graveyard. Some of you may remember that, some of you may not, but I did show myself at the airport in the graveyards trying to find this family. Could not find them. I have y'all to know from 2021 to 2025, 2021, 2025, I'm just now finding this family. And I had to call them, and they are so excited. I want y'all to see this video. I was recording the whole thing because I was just like so excited. Let me show y'all. Guys, what? This little family, big family, are supposed to be one of the families that's the progenitors to the Atlanta airport. I hope that I know at least one of the members of the five families probably on here. They're supposed to be one of the families that was the landowners to the airport, but their family, um, a little record that I found led me all the way down to the bottom of Metro Atlanta in a whole nother area, but a very popular area. And it's like, you have to really have patience with finding your family and finding this property, because sometimes it takes a while. These records were so hidden, guys. When I say behind the eight ball as it relates to these records, we're just getting our hands on these records. We're not even 20 years in. And you got to think, if they have spent 200 plus years hiding the records, how long is it going to take for us to unpack all of this? We got to be patient with ourselves and just really just keep working. I'm excited. The family is excited because now they can really start the journey. I was all the way just in West. It's very exciting, very exciting, very exciting. I don't know. I just want to share that with y'all because I've been kind of geeked about it all day long. They're geeked. I'm geeked. It's just like, wow, guys. Anyway, so that's that on that. Hey y'all. Y'all want to know where the graveyard at? If you in Metro Atlanta, you ain't gonna never guess. It's you know what? I'm starting to think. I'm starting to suspect some things, guys. Okay, I'm starting to really suspect some things because at almost every major site, there's a graveyard, right? And there was a whole thing where if you have graveyards on a particular site, there's no taxes, right? It all stemmed from heirs property because families had burial grounds on their land. Families weren't paying what we now call taxes on the land because they ran their own electricity, they ran their own water. People down in South Georgia where I'm from, they still do that to this day. The city don't have to pave their roads, they pave their own roads. It's a lot of very independent black families in America that people just don't talk about because, you know, heirs property is not a new thing in a lot of places. It's kind of just like a new thing for our generation because the elders kind of stopped talking about it. But a lot of places still are very much self-sufficient. So when the county comes in, runs water, runs the electricity for you, then you have to pay taxes. Other than that, it's just like an airship tax type of thing. I'm starting to think they buried people at a lot of these places to avoid taxes. Or this was already these families' land and they took it. And they took it. They took it. They took it. Yep. Anyway, let's get started. Hey guys, everybody been on the line. I see a lot of y'all on the line on uslineage.com. I'm so excited about the line. I'm so excited, guys. I'm very excited. I see a few people. Nah. Some people got blocked. Some people got locked out because, if you're trying to log in using an admin username, you're going to automatically get blocked. Your IP address is going to be blocked. So some people got blocked because they logged in from an IP address trying to use an admin protocol. You get blocked. Now, I did go in and retrace the steps of some people and manually unblock them. Also, there are certain countries that's blocked. The full countries are blocked. So if you have a VPN on your computer or your device, you may be blocked. You may be blocked by default of, because like when you have VPN on your computer, how it switches, how the VPN switches from country to country. If your VPN switches to a country that we have blocked on the site, you're gonna be blocked. And then we'll have to manually let you all back in the site. Okay, we'll have to manually let you all back in the site. So just try to go from a turn your VPNs off, okay? In a nutshell. Also, go from a laptop, guys. People may have issues on your phone because some of these file sets are very big. They're very huge. They're very huge. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, if you got a VPN and it's switching to a country that we had to block certain countries because they was in there doing the most. And I'm just like, well, how do these people even know about us? Like it just gets weird. It just gets weird. It just gets weird. So we had to block just entire countries because you ain't even got no business over here in the first place. This has nothing to do with you. What we're doing has nothing to do with you. So yeah, we blocked quite a few countries out. Also, what I was about to say was that there are some people that's in the site. Yeah, some people logged in and ain't logged out. Yeah, I'm excited because I'm like that too. I just go in and search, search, search. I knew y'all was gonna be on there all day. I knew it. I just knew it. I knew it because I am the exact same way. Because it's so much to explore. But I want you to make sure you focus on your family because you have no idea how many of your family records are on that site that you have never seen, or family records that are related to your family that can unpack a story for yourself. So make sure you create a folder. Make sure you create a folder for your family, and and um we're gonna get this done, guys. We're gonna work as hard as we can. um I want to get into some of these lynching maps and things that are on the line. Like I said, it's a lot of history to explore on here. I want to make sure we get into a lot of these things to help unpack a lot of these stories, because sometimes when you cannot find your family members, unfortunately, it could have been something like a lynching, or you just never know. You have to explore all of the possibilities when you're dealing with finding your lineage, finding your ancestors. You have to explore all the possibilities. There are people in my family that were lynched here in Georgia. So, you know, I'm not an anomaly. There's plenty of people that were lynched. There are lynching maps that I had never seen, you know, that wasn't really made public, So it's a lot to explore. It's a lot to explore. No, you're okay. So here's what's going on now. A few months ago, it wasn't a few months ago. Whenever I did that was a few months ago. It had to be like July. I did a video June. I did a video about Diddy, right? And how he and Melania met. Well, guys, I have y'all know Melania is now suing people for talking about this stuff. Guys, she's suing people, right? So her and Hunter Biden has something going on right now. Well, Hunter Biden did an interview about Melania, and Melania said, boy, I will hit you with a $1 billion lawsuit. But Hunter Biden Crack baby Biden said that Melania was introduced to Trump by Epstein. And I want y'all to look at a piece of this interview of Hunter.
Fact of the matter is that this is about.
Let me see. Can I start it back a little bit?
By journalists and authors since then.
Hold on. Let me go back.
Hitting your goals has nothing to do with discipline. The real culprit is friction, and it slowly erodes your progress. Unlike what most people believe.
Fuck that.
Okay.
That's not going to happen.
Wait. Hello. I got to go back. This is Hunter Biden's response to Melania.
But now here we are. And I've got $1 billion document in my hands because Mrs. Trump is seeking $1 billion in damages if we don't take the video down and if Hunter here doesn't issue a formal apology to Mrs. Trump. So now we're here maybe to give you the platform to apologize to the First Lady for your statements that you made about her possible connection to Jeffrey Epstein.
Fuck that. That's not going to happen.
This nigga a crackhead.
Fuck Black, fuck Quack, fuck Eddie, fuck Fab, fuck Lowe's, fuck Sada, fuck Spaz, fuck O'Delly, fuck Jay, fuck Sutter, fuck Smack, fuck the North. If the Mozzie niggas trippin', fuck Fab, fuck 3, fuck a fuck.
Well, first of all, is that what I said was what I have heard and seen reported and written, primarily from Michael Wolff, but also dating back all the way to 2019. When the New York Times, I think Annie Carney and Maggie Haberman reported that sources said that Jeffrey Epstein claimed to be the person to introduce Donald Trump to Melania at that time. And then it was, I think, excerpted in a book that was published in Vanity Fair. And I think it's been repeated by journalists and authors since then. But the primary source was the interviews that Michael Wolff has been conducting, in which he has actually tapes of, I think, hours and hours and hours of interviews with Jeffrey Epstein directly.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's the thing. I got a sneaky suspicion about this whole thing. As you all know, I did put the unredacted Epstein files on the line, the flight logs. Okay, I did put the flight logs on the line. All right, I'm sure some of y'all have already seen them. It's very interesting. I'm interested in the Epstein case as it relates to, does this ties into so many kids that went missing? And maybe you guys can put your eyes on the flight logs that I put on the line. And if they do tie in, that's your ass. I put them, it's under the policies page. This takes a while to load up because I got so many tabs open on my computer. But it'll pop up here in this section. And I had a suspicion. I don't think Trump necessarily had anything to do with oh boy. But maybe. Oh shit, I wasn't trying to print the damn thing. Cancel. Maybe he does. I don't think he do. I think it was more so. This is what I think, my opinion. It might be it might be more so Melania than Trump. I think Trump may have I only seen Trump on here one time, and I forget when it was, but it was not going to the Epstein Island. It was going somewhere like New Jersey or some shit. However, it's a lot of people on here going directly to Epstein Island. And Trump just was not one of those people, because I was looking at it to see whether he was on there, and I was going to cook his ass. I ain't even going to hold you. I was going to cook him, but I didn't see him on here. I saw him on here, but it's not going to Epstein Island. So I don't know. I don't know. It's there for you to explore. I know Epstein was flying his plane in and out my hometown. You know, he was flying the plane in and out my hometown. So I was just trying to see what's going on with that. You know, um, this is the location that I'm more interested in. This Santa Fe location because they said that's where children were trafficked at. This Santa Fe location here. Wait, I hope y'all can see it. Can y'all see it? Can y'all see it? The Santa Fe location, New Mexico. That's what the blogger spirit is saying, that kids were possibly trafficked out of his Santa Fe. This is where the scientists and stuff went to do all the experiments and all the weird shit. So I'm trying to see, like, did these people arrested? Are they off the streets? Either way, I don't know what Melania will have to take into consideration. That the boy a crackhead. I mean, get a boy some slack. He's maybe he don't do crack no more. I don't know, but listen. He got problems. He got issues. So that's that. He got issues. He got issues. But they're on the line for your viewing pleasure. Maybe we'll unpack something concerning Epstein, but I'm not really into that case. I ain't even gonna lie. Unless I find out, like I said, if this has something to do with the children, then that's a totally different.
When my team pitched the idea,
totally different thing. So that's that. Y'all enjoy that file. Another thing I want to talk about is Jasmine Crockett. Yeah, they tried to hide the list, but it's been on the internet, so it's anything that's on the internet is not really hidden. It's on the internet. Somebody said, yeah, he did. I don't know where are the files though that say he went. I don't know. I didn't see him on those are the main flight logs. Those flight logs are like from 97 all the way up until damn another time he got arrested. Those are his two private planes, his two modes of transportation. The big 747 government plane and his private jet. So that flight log contains both of those planes. And it's a lot of people on there. Trump is on there too, but like I said, you can see who's flying to the island and you can see who's flying to Santa Fe, and you can see who's. I didn't see him on there. I didn't see him on there. I was gonna cook his ass. I was gonna make it a whole series cooking him, but I don't know. Said I'm glad to finally catch you live. Yeah, share the live. Now I want to talk about, because we've already discussed Jasmine Crockett. I think people know my feelings on her. I thought that she was trying to more so be a YouTuber than listen to the concerns of ours and try to get things done on our behalf. Everybody heard her screaming, we needed reparations from the rooftop. I mean, everybody heard it. And instead of these people advocating for us, they switched their personalities to try to become YouTubers and be snappy and be using profanity and try to cover topics as if they're a YouTuber. Snapping fingers and shit. Like, we can do that. We're on YouTube. You're supposed to be representing us on the big stage. You have everybody watching you globally. You got the ability to write up legislation. You got the ability to do a bipartisan thing and get legislation passed. Instead of you doing that, you wanted to, like I said, be a YouTuber. And now Jasmine is in a world of trouble as the Texas legislators are redistricting. They're doing this gerrymandering, redistricting thing in Texas and turning the whole state red. And so now Jasmine is saying that she's possibly going to run in another district. They've basically ran her out of her district. But I think I think this kind of put the nail in the coffin for Jasmine amongst everybody, white people, black people. This video that Benny Johnson did on Jasmine, I think it put the nail in the coffin. I don't know whether y'all saw this, but I want to make sure y'all see that. Let's watch it together, because I think this may have been Jasmine's the nail in her coffin.
Guys, we are in Dallas, Texas today in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. It is rough, it is tough, it is hood, and it is foul, just like Jasmine Crockett. That's the whole persona, right? Tough talking, street fighting girl from the ghetto. That's Jasmine Crockett's entire aura, the attitude.
Looks like in the shitter to me.
The volume.
Don't tell me to calm down.
Calm down.
Because y'all talk
Calm
noise
down.
and then
You're
can't
out of
take
control.
it.
The voice.
You know, the congressional seat is over 4 times as large as my House seat.
I'm trying to get clarification.
But there's a little problem with Jasmine. It's all a lie. She's code switching. She's a fraud, and we can prove it today. This is where Jasmine says she's from, but this is where Jasmine's really from. Welcome to St. Louis, Missouri, Jasmine Crockett's hometown. But let me show you where Jasmine Crockett's really from.
Welcome to St. Louis, specifically the Republican suburbs of St. Louis, with the mansions, country clubs, and private schools. This is where Jasmine Crockett was raised. We're talking quiet suburbs, manicured lawns, college brochures in the mailbox, and neighbors who wave when they mow the lawn.
This is where Jasmine Crockett went to school. It's called the Mary Institute and St. Louis Country Day School. It's one of the most prestigious institutions in the entire country, also one of the most expensive. Check this out. This isn't just a good school. This is the #1 school in the entire state of Missouri. It costs $35,000 per year to attend high school here. And the reason why is because the average test scores here guarantee your placement in an elite college institution. It's one of the best preparatory schools in the world. The average SAT score here is 1350, and the average ACT score here is 30. This is an elite institution. Did your high school have its own private Wimbledon?
This is crazy work. I wish I probably could produce videos like this. This is nasty. This is nasty work.
How large was your high school's lacrosse field? This lacrosse field is expensive. Did your high school have its own aquatic center on site? Can Jasmine Crockett swim? She has no excuse because she went here.
Nasty. Nasty.
This is where Jasmine learned to play clarinet by the apple tree on this beautiful campus of the Mary Institute, St. Louis Country Day School. Did your high school have its own private dock and pond teeming with colorful fish and wildlife? I think not. Neither did mine, because we're poor. But Jasmine is elite. After graduating from this elite country day school, Jasmine Crockett was immediately accepted at another elite institution, Rhodes College in Tennessee.
Rhodes College is a private liberal arts school that looks like Hogwarts and costs a whopping $74,000 per year. That makes Rhodes one of the most expensive colleges in America. There are only 2,000 students enrolled at this institution, nestled in the rolling leafy hills of Old Memphis, and Jasmine, from the block, is one of them. But the elitism did not end there. Jasmine went on to attend and graduate from the University of Houston Law Center, where tuition runs a whopping $40,000 per year. In total, Jasmine Crockett's elite education cost close to $1 million. Just to talk.
That's wild. That's wild. $1 million and you switch your entire personality. See, here's the thing, because it's a lot of us that are here on YouTube that went to school. Okay. I am a scientist. However, I was raised in the middle of the hood. Okay. Gang violence, shootouts, all that. All right. See, we had to fight, crawl, claw our way out of that in order to focus in college and get an education. It wasn't no silver spoon private high school. No, public high school. So when we get online and we talk like this, and you're me, okay, it's because you've been in both worlds. You've been in both worlds, literally. And so it's not cosplaying. But she like literally cosplayed this whole thing and switched her whole personality to be, I don't know. That it's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
On national TV.
Donald Trump is a piece of shit. Okay, we know that.
Yes, he is. But in a functioning democracy.
Tisk tisk. What would Yasmine's English instructors here think of her now? Ah, how time goes by. I forgot. Jasmine Crockett didn't always used to talk like a hood rat. For most of her life, Jasmine talked like this.
Wait. Oh my gosh.
Who legally owns your home?
I just got to Austin, and I had to meet 5 people to get here.
After graduating law school, Jasmine went on to start her own law firm. She got elected immediately to the Texas State House and then moved swiftly to the U.S. Congress with the help of just a few foreign billionaires along the way. And now she's polling for president in 2028. If anything, Jasmine Crockett's life story is not a condemnation of systemic racism in America, but the true definition of obscene American privilege, that anyone from anywhere can be and do anything. This isn't started from the bottom, now we're here. This is started from the Neighborhood Watch, and now we're in the HOA. Here's what your average street looks like in South Dallas, where Jasmine Crockett represents.
Best part about Jasmine Crockett's district is free public bathrooms. Think about it. That's where your tax dollars are going.
Brown New Deal.
Man, someone was having a cookout right here. Look at the pan and the charcoals are ready to go. Jasmine, why did you invite us to the cookout? Look, there's the pans. And here's the rest of the cookout right here.
And here's what your average street looks like in St. Louis, in the suburbs where Jasmine Crockett's from. Here's what a school looks like in South Dallas.
Here's an elementary school in the heart of Jasmine Crockett's district. Let's go ahead and check on the environment in which these kids are learning. You have burned down buildings in every direction. Nothing's open. FDJT has been tagged on this building. Everything is just blight. Everything is been destroyed. Empty booze bottles sitting in the parking lot. Did Jasmine Crockett write FDJT? Maybe that's her contribution here. Decline is a choice. None of those businesses are open. All of them have been shuttered and burned to the ground. This is where the students are learning. It's bad. So that's the big school in Jasmine Crockett's district. You can see the playground and everything like that. There are kids playing on it. Here's the walkway to school in Crockett's district. This is what the children have to walk through every single day. I don't know how many booze bottles there are, how many beer cans, and how much junk. Just a reminder that it's people who represent districts like these that want to bring you the Green New Deal. They're the ones who call themselves environmentalists. Remember that.
And here's what a school looks like in St. Louis. Here's what a sidewalk looks like in South Dallas. And here's what a sidewalk looks like in St. Louis. And here's what stores and shopping centers look like in South Dallas.
Never seen so many downed power lines in my life. It's like the broken windows theory when
I didn't want to watch the whole video. I just wanted to make sure y'all was aware of what's going on and what could have been the nail in Jasmine Crockett's coffin. I think it's strange that they see people like us voicing our opinions in a way where it's polarizing, because it's a lot of us that are like this. And instead of the Democrats saying, let's listen to them and see what their concerns are and see if we can meet their concerns, instead of them doing that, they say, okay, mimic the personalities of these people. Don Lemon did the same thing. He did the same thing when he got on YouTube, when he got fired and became a YouTuber. He did the same thing. They switched their whole, instead of saying, okay, they asked for this, let's work to get this, they say, no, go talk like them, act like them, do the mannerisms like them, fix your wig a little bit so you won't look so, and instead of doing what they say, just cosplay them and keep on with the mission. Keep on with the mission of promoting abortions. Jasmine just did a video last month talking about immigration, always fighting for immigrants. And in that speech, she mentioned that, we need the immigrants because our birth population is declining here in America. And we need immigrants because immigrants have babies. But I vividly remember during Kamala's run, Jasmine and others, all of them were pushing abortions on us in the name of women's rights. They had Planned Parenthood sponsor the DNC National Convention, for fuck's sake. They had abortion clinics set up outside of the rallies, herding our little girls inside to have free abortions. But then she get on TV and say we need immigrants because immigrants have babies and the U.S. population is dropping. Man, what the fuck are you talking about? What? So this could be your karma, because we didn't ask for abortions. We didn't ask for any of that. We asked for reparations and restitutions, and you know that because multiple people told you. You know that because you switched your personality to sound like those of us who were talking the loudest about reparations. And then you started talking loud. And then the lingo became ghetto because you added the mannerisms, the neck popping. See, when we talk, it's not ghetto because we ain't neck popping and finger snapping, And if you do call it ghetto, who cares? As long as you hear what we're saying. But also, we're not a politician. We're not put in place by the people to make sure the streets are clean. We're not put in place by the people to make sure the elders are not evicted or are having their homes taken due to property tax inflation. We're not put in place to make sure that there are policies in the community that protects the people who vote for you, the blacks, darkies, Negroes, coloreds. Nope. You didn't write anything. You didn't put your signature on anything. You didn't cooperate or not cooperate. You didn't partner with anybody else who cared about us. When 23andMe came, you didn't press them. 23andMe sat right in front of Jasmine and said, yeah, we got our database is majority Black Americans. And yeah, we're about to sell it. And the white people pressed 23andMe way hard. And then when Jasmine got on the stage, it's your time to shine. You dropped the ball. You start talking about slave ships. Ma'am, did you hear what these people just said? They just said they have millions of data on Black Americans and they about to sell it. And the white people said, well, that's illegal for you to do. You know that, right? So what are y'all going to sell this for? And what are y'all going to do with this data once you sell it? Now, can y'all make not direct energy? Can y'all make, what they call it? They didn't say direct energy weapons. They said, what did they call it? Some kind of weapons. Some kind of weapons. They said, can y'all make weapons with this? Yeah. Can y'all target diseases and viruses with this data? Yeah. Can y'all make medications with this data? Yeah. Did the people give y'all permission to share this data? Well, what had happened was, and then Jasmine got on the stage and then asked them nothing like that. Nothing, like nothing. She got on stage and talked about Trump and Elon. Wasted her whole, didn't reclaim no time, nothing. This girl, this your time to shine. They about to sell your whole community out. Right? In this, what we learned today, what we learned on Benny Johnson's video is that the Negroes was never her community. She got $1 billion foreign investors. The girl spent $1 million on whoever at this point got to find out whether her last name Crockett, because I thought she was from Texas. I thought she was a Crockett from Texas. Now somebody got to really do some even deeper diving to figure out this girl even the Crockett, you know. And who all cosplaying? Who all, because we don't have any foreign billionaires from cross seas that can do anything for us. We just don't. I speak for myself. I don't have any foreigners from cross seas that'll put money up behind me running a political campaign. And if they did, what do I have to give them in order for them to give me billions of dollars? Jasmine is a multi-millionaire and did not make any of that money off of being an attorney. She made all of that money rolling her neck and snapping her fingers. Like, it ain't nothing wrong with rolling your neck and snapping your fingers, you know. But you're not from that life, ma'am. You definitely ain't seen nobody get killed. You didn't grow up in the hood, man. You just didn't. You didn't play four square in the street. You didn't run up and down the street racing. You know. We had a lady in where I grew up at on the east side of Albany, Georgia. We had a lady that, you know, in the middle of the ghetto. A lady that taught piano. And some of us went to this lady, learned piano, just the basics, in the middle of the hood. Jasmine didn't grow up like that. You had a paid for instructor. You see, we were just pooling our talents together and you know, using what you got, so to speak. I don't know. You know, I don't know, but I guess to be fair, my whole city was hood. So there wasn't really many parts of my city that they didn't really, you know, they think everywhere that's urban is hood. So it is what it is. You know, it wasn't hood to us. We was very rich growing up, if you ask me. It seemed like we was just the richest on the planet, if you ask me. But anyway, I don't know, guys. I don't know who do we have? Who do we have on our side? You know, as it relates to politicians. Where do we go from here? You know, it's like the Republicans that are black are goofy as fuck. I don't like them. They coon. They be cooling out. They just do the most. They do the most. And then the Democrats just totally ignore you. Like you don't exist. So it's like, where do you go? Where do you go from here? You know, that's something we have to figure out. And I think, you know, we're on to something with just trying to write this stuff up ourselves. You know, just write it up ourselves and see who we get. If that's some cross. I think when you are a group of people who are being ignored by everybody, you got to look at all the sides of the field. You got to lobby for yourself. You know, you have to promote positivity for your culture. We got to do everything ourselves. Somebody said South Dallas is very close to downtown Dallas and they want them black folks gone. Really? Well, is this Jasmine's district? Why didn't she put parameters in place to protect it? That's what I'm saying. A lot of this gentrification happens because people are taxed. People tax rate. They started this in Atlanta. It's a fast track to getting people off the land. And they did the test run in Atlanta. I don't know. Atlanta is always, it's the test city for a lot of stuff. And I don't know why. I haven't quite figured it out yet. But we had a project called the Beltline Project, and it was the first of its kind. And that Beltline Project, came in and it gentrified a lot of old money out of these neighborhoods. A lot of old money Black people from downtown Boulevard, Old Fourth Ward. It went to the west side. It didn't make Buckhead though. And so the elders were kicking and screaming and trying to blow the whistle on it. Those of us who heard them blew the whistle on it, you could probably find videos of me from 2015, about 2015, blowing the whistle on it, trying to stop this gentrification from happening in Atlanta, telling the elders not to sell their property, telling the politicians, hey, put something in place so these elders won't get thrown out. And then after so many of them got thrown out of their homes, guys, people who have been in them properties for 80 years, people who have had that family, that property in their family for a long time, they got taxed out. And so what the city of Atlanta did a tax hike, because now it's new stuff coming in your neighborhood. Now we got a Starbucks coming here, so we got to do a tax hike. And so overnight, these people property tax went up, and that was how so many people, by the thousands. But then they took that model and then they took it to DC, because I was tracking it at the time. They took the same model, and then DC was the next area that they took it to. And then from there, they just start moving it from city to city. A fast track project. Spike the property taxes, and then you get to gentrify really quickly. It was so bad in Atlanta. It was whole bus tours full of white people touring the neighborhoods. It was a 10-year plan put in place. I'm telling you, that's the dirtiest thing that I have ever seen. That really broke my faith in the political system. It did. Because at the time, I don't know, I spent a fortune helping the homeless here. So many outreach projects because there was so many homeless people. It was bad. It was really bad. And I really, you think you're voting the right people in, but you don't know internationally what ties they have. They sold Atlanta out to the Chinese. They sold Atlanta out to the Chinese, man. And unfortunately, people looked like us. And if you're here in Atlanta, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And a lot of people in Atlanta was against it. A lot of big wigs in Atlanta was against it. Celebrities was against it, but they could not stop it. Nobody could not stop it, because the paperwork had already been signed before everybody knew. Just like how y'all saw when the Braves Stadium up and moved to Cobb County. Paperwork had already been signed before people can protest. So they was really doing stuff up under the table. And when you have politicians in place like that, it's like, who's for you then? And who's for you? Are these people held under ransom, and so they have to do stuff like this? There's somebody with dirt on these people, and so they have to make moves like this. What is it? How do we get out of this? How do we combat it? There was no way. When we saw this moving from city to city, it was no way to even warn the people in the city. How can you? These people got more money than us. Corporations were involved, guys. That it was bad. It's bad. Corporations were involved with getting these gentrification projects done and getting these people moved out. And then that really, to be honest, It springboarded me, but I said we got to get to the bottom of this, and this is where heirs property come in, because you cannot kick people off of heirs property. It's so much stuff you got to go through. It's a lot of red tape with heirs property, a lot of protection ramifications. It's protected by the Constitution. You cannot just kick people off heirs property. But if you don't know it's your heirs property, then what? If you don't know, then what? See, a lot of people, some of the newer people to this heirs property game, they're thinking heirs property is just, okay, this house is paid for. It could get passed down to my, no. You mean you can call that heirs property, but that's, as it relates to the government, that's not heirs property. The heirs property records is land that's been in your family prior to these wars happening, prior to these war bonds happening, prior to all of that, prior to, and so how do you get that message out? Hey, double check to make sure this isn't heirs property before this land is sold. How do you get that word out? Before everything is gentrified to hell, and then you have a uptick in the homeless population, and then then what? When the people are out on the street homeless, then what's going to happen to them? You done kicked them out their house. Y'all, the elders, it was disgusting. Like, everybody here was concerned, because Atlanta is small and big at the same time. So now you have people who are connected to somebody who's big, who's getting thrown out. Look at this elder. That's so-and-so. That's so-and-so grandma that just got kicked out her house. Can you tell so-and-so to help him pay her taxes? Like, who? But it happens so quick. It happens so quickly. And it's disgusting, and I feel like people need to be paid for that. People need to be restored from that alone. And it's just weird that something like that can continually happen in our community. That gentrification project never got to Buckhead. It wasn't until we got really loud here in Atlanta that Keisha put a grandfather clause on the books so that people could stop touring, white people now, foreigners, could stop touring Atlanta neighborhoods and sitting there on the courthouse step getting these old, beautiful, immaculate properties for $6,000, $7,000. And what they were doing is so sneaky. They were sending like a person who looked like one of us, right? But they'll be bidding for a Chinese investor. So they'll have tons of money. They'll be sitting there with $1 million cash bidding on homes. And you think you're there to bid on some shit, but you don't know that black girl over there, Japanese done sent her $1 million because she's a real estate developer. She just looked like you. The Japanese done sent her $1 million to buy up as many properties. And now you have these corporate entities in Atlanta, and they're everywhere. They're buying all the properties, and it's like, it's a mess. How do you restore it though? How do you restore it? They do. A lot of them all care about that mighty dollar, and that is an issue. And it ain't nothing wrong with caring about money, because you have to live and survive, but at the expense of who? You don't live and survive at the expense of your race. We've been through that too much. We've had too many people cosplaying us. They cosplayed our ancestors. They cosplayed our parents. Hell, you ain't even got to go back that far. They came over here in the 60s. Foreign exchange students in the 60s, mixed in with the furniture. And you didn't know till down the line that they was a foreigner. They mix in just that well with the furniture. They mix in. So it's like, yeah, what do you do? I think we're onto something with just kind of putting our eyes on it ourselves. And, you got to get real people up in there. You got to get real people up in there, because vetting, it's like you can vet people till the cows come home, and you just don't even know how long they've been living under a name Crockett and really got a name Umala Uwebe. If you can't find none of these people childhood friends, if you can't find nobody who went to college with these people, and at this point it's like, well, y'all can't represent us, goddamn, because we need at least 2 people who went to college with you. We need somebody from your neighborhood, and we need to be able to go on your Facebook page and see somebody who know you. Because if all these people only know you from your political career, then something ain't right. Something ain't right. You done assumed a whole new identity. And at this point, we be researching people's identity. They done made this thing so bad. It's so many. They done made it so bad. They done made it so bad. They done really made it really bad. Kicking black people out of their homes is pipeline to racism, perpetuated homelessness, innocent, inconsideration, injustice, jail, blackmail, all of the above. Yep. Trump is trying to tell us something. He said that we must become self-sufficient. We let too many others own our corner stores and gas stations. I didn't hear him say that when he said that. It's true, but you got to go to war with the Arabs in order to get it back. Didn't Trump just go over there and the Arabs gave him how much money and a free plane? So when you talking about getting our gas stations back, how? Y'all already gave it to the Arabs during the World Wars. How do we get it back? How do we get it back when y'all can build a pipeline whenever you want to? I mean, the men would have to really put their eyes on this. This pipeline situation, there's an Arab store situation. There's a lot of situations here. A lot of different industries here. And you know what? How do we get it back? I talked about that one show about going into your state website, the Secretary of State website, and typing in the gas stations and seeing who own them. It's like all Arabs. They got a monopoly. How do you get the monopoly back? They're not even paying you royalties on the gas that's pumping up under your heirs' property. How you gonna get the gas stations back? How? You need a military. You need a military. For sure. You need a military. To be able to wrangle this stuff out. Because when you do it, the Arabs going to want to go to war with you. Because now you're messing up their livelihood as if they ain't messed up our livelihood. And it's like, you don't even want me to fight back? You get mad because I'm fighting back? Is the Army going to protect you while you do it? Is the Navy going to protect it? Who going to hold a line? Who's going to hold a line? Who's going to hold a line? It's a theory until you can find out those questions. It's a theory until you can find out those questions. Yep, and you see them bidding that look like you and won't suspect them of any wrongdoing. Exactly. You be standing on the courthouse step battling with somebody who's fully backed by, like they said, a foreign billionaire. Like, how can we? So they say he said that during his campaign. Yeah, I would like to see. I would like to find a video of that. I didn't hear him say that. I didn't hear or see that. But I would love to see a video of that. I would love to see that. It's a Buffalo Wild Wings, Dunkin' Donuts, Wingstop, gas station owned by racist white. Look. It's a lot of them. Let me tell you, how do we get it back though? It's my thing. I'm a solutionist, a solution-oriented person. I can pull the records all day. As you can see. Y'all can pull the records all day. And we can really unpack this thing. And we can really look into what legislation was put in place that allowed the Arabs to come and have a monopoly on gas. On oil. What legislation was put in place that allowed them to have this big slice of the energy sector? And why don't we have any slice? Like when you go into the redlining and all of that, it's It's two definitions of redlining, and both of them correlates to us. One very important definition of redlining no one ever brings up, and that's when you're redline off a property that contains oil. See, and if this happened during the same era, they're saying we are redlined, right? And then another group came and spent it and said, yeah, we was redlined out of white neighborhoods. No, ma'am. You weren't redlined out of white neighborhoods. No, ma'am. No. How were you redlined out of white neighborhoods, right? You can't be redlined out of neighborhood if you're not even there, right? No, you was redlined off of your property. That's why you had to get pushed off. And see, they're able to herd people in different directions like that. When you redline somebody off of their property, where do they go? That's what they're doing now with these gentrification projects. It's just redlining, especially if you're in Texas. It's all everywhere in damn Texas. Texas, no black person in Texas shouldn't be a millionaire just off default of the amount of money that's made off oil. Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Southern Alabama, no black person should never be broke. If you can come up with a legislation just on the basis of oil, right? So they took the oil derricks off the land and dropped them below and called it pipelines, right? And then they start piping the oil out to the Gulf. And that's why you have all those rigs out in the Gulf. But Texas actually process oil. That's why at night, a lot of these places in Texas look like fire cities. You see them processing petroleum. And so you're in Texas, right? But your home is on top of a pipeline. Like if you pull up the pipelines, let me see, can I pull it up right quick? How many pipelines are in Texas? Look. Texas has a vast pipeline network totaling 485,000 miles. Guys, what? Nobody in Texas, and then this Heir's property. This is Heir's property. No black person in Texas should be struggling. Nobody. But you got to know this information in order to know what to fight for, what to write up, what kind of legislation even need to be written up or presented to your politicians. How do you present it to your politicians? What to do? See these pipelines? What you don't see is the little networks. What you don't see is the little networks of pipelines that go into neighborhoods. They don't, this graph don't show this. But if you saw a graph that showed it, it's so many other little pipeline, all these little dark spots, all those oil pockets that's just undeniable. Let me see, can I find a better map. Let's see, Texas Pipeline Association. 30 member companies, 234,000 well-paying jobs. The black men should have those jobs. And see, this is another thing. They bring in foreigners to get these jobs on our heirs property. So you fucking us over in two ways. Kick me out the industry, right? You kicked me out the industry. And then you stole the commodity. So you got to really call ICE on these people for sure. You got to really call ICE on these people at this point. Because 234,000 well-paying jobs, that should go to our community. But who do you have in Texas to be able to verbalize this is the question. Everybody's scared to talk about oil for some reason. I don't know. You can't bully people out of talking about stuff that's happening on their land. Let me see. Let me see. Petroleum delivery. That's just truck drivers. I was trying to see whether they have some. Texas Railroad Commission Longhorn debate calls attention to pipelines. Has Jasmine Crockett ever brought up the oil in Texas? Has Jasmine Crockett ever talked about oil? You when the land was at. It says too many records. This data set has a lot of records. Try zooming in. I love to see it. I love to see it. It has 32,892 records. Let's see how far I need to zoom in for it to pop up. Oh, see, there we go. There we go. There we go. Boom. Look at all these goddamn. Nobody in Texas should be broke, and it's everywhere. These pipelines are. This is oil, guys. Oil. Look it up. Oil is all over America. These pipelines are all over America, guys. Look, Little Rock, Mississippi. You can barely see Texas. You can barely see Texas. That's how many pipelines are. Look at the coast. This is what I'm saying. This area right here, Texas, Mississippi. Louisiana, all of that. Nobody down there should go without money. And y'all know the big port is in Mobile, Alabama. That's like that. Mobile, Alabama, like the headquarters, where they put the headquarters at down there. But it's oil literally everywhere, guys. Oil and natural gas. We should never be broke over here in America. Ever. There should be no such thing as we got to pay for health care. Nigga, you see how many oil pipelines in here? You see that? That's what I'm saying. Everybody's stealing. Everybody, look at Dallas. You can barely see some of these areas. You can barely see them. You can barely see them. And this is where they had them, the oil rigs out there. Down here in the Gulf. They didn't already change the Gulf of America. They had them rigs right down here in the Gulf. And then when you listen to some of the congressional hearings. I was listening at one congressional hearing where you had Kazakhstan. They was complaining about Mobile, Alabama, because they couldn't get oil from down here in the Gulf anymore. And they kept bringing up Mobile, Alabama. And I'm like, why the fuck is Kazakhstan talk about Mobile, Alabama and complaining about not being able to get oil? Like, you feel so entitled. Like, we should have that same energy and complain about not getting royalties. We should have that same energy. Y'all don't see me moving my screen. I don't know why my screen been getting froze lately. Let me go back in. We should have that same energy as it relates to us getting royalties off this stuff, man. America is very rich. How many of us on these pipelines? You can barely see Houston. You can barely see it. See, the black people down there don't know what they're sitting on top of. That is our issue. We're not looking at this commodities market. You got everybody trying to teach you how to run a play to get a goddamn credit card from Navy Federal. No, this is the bigger picture. Find the heir's property. Find what's under it. Find who's controlling it. And get the check or try to get the land back. And this may take you 10 years. It may take you 5. It may take you 1. It may take you an entire generation. But if you don't start working on it now, it'll never happen. You can barely even see Louisiana. And then when you know stuff like, you can barely see Baton Rouge. And then when you, oh shit, my bad. New Orleans is covered. And then when you're able to visualize maps like this, then you can see why Katrina would happen. You can see why they'll blow the lid. It's no black American has made. Louisiana was the last group of black Americans as a whole to make money out this oil market. And you can fight me over this. I ain't seen nobody else doing it. Now, I'm not saying no black families are connected to the oil sector. This was the last group of people right here that was literally working in. Damn, they're controlling it. Damn, they're controlling the sector. They the last of the Mohicans. And when they blew them levees, displaced all them people, property likely escheated to the state, abandoned the property, escheats to the state, and now who own the property? Some of the main property that they needed to get in order to get those pipelines out here to this coast so they can do whatever the fuck they want to do with it. And that's our main issue. You have to get this stuff to men, to real men who can look at it and understand what's going on. You have to get it to them. You have to not be afraid to call ICE on people. I don't give a damn. Call ICE on these people. Get them picked up so that you can have an in route, because you don't know how long these people been controlling this field. They've been controlling it for a while and just keeping us distracted from the money and rerouting our attention to other ways to make money other than off our own land. That's the issue. That's the issue. That's the issue. That's a great idea, sis. I will buy a gas station. You will be very wealthy, and it won't take you very much long to do it. If you buy a gas station, you will be very wealthy, because you can then partner with black men who are dry to oil rigs. Y'all, you can start as however you need to start. Just get your pinky toe in there. That's all you got to do. You can have a whole partnership with men who make oil. You can go broker your own deals with some of these refineries. This is refineries all over Texas. It's refineries all over the place. You have to operate. You have to look at this thing just like they look at it. There is a black owned company. What's this guy's name? He's in Texas. He owns an oil company in Texas. But he does marketing. If you owned a gas station, that would be probably who you would talk to, because he has he brokers the deal with the refineries. So the people on the rigs who pumping the oil out, then send the oil to the refineries. Then I guess the rigs pick it up from the refinery. I don't know. I haven't talked to it. My cousin drives a truck or oil truck, but I haven't spoken with him to see where do they pick the oil up from to go to the gas stations. I think they go from the refineries to the gas stations, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not totally sure. But even if it's not, even if there's a middleman there, what are the middleman jobs? You got to get, in order to learn about the industry, you got to be in it in some kind of way. Right now, all we have, I think, in the industry is basically the truck drivers. The truck drivers may know more, but just don't have time to put all the pieces of the puzzle together. The truck drivers who drive the oil may not know about the Heir's property. They may not know about all the pipelines. They just may not know. They may not know. So you really just got to put the puzzle together, I had tagged you in a Sarah Rector. Yeah. I tagged you in the oil movie coming out, and I saw your response about them needing to change her from African to Indigenous American, and I stand on that. They're gonna start making movies about black people in oil because they saw us loud about the subject matter. Okay? Make no mistakes about it. I'm glad that they're making the movie. However, don't sit here online and look at the people you're making the documentaries about the black folks owning oil, right? Because the people who are making that movie, they're 1 degree of separation from me. I have no problem at all. I'm all for it. But see, what we're not going to do is try to do this African shit, because when I'm doing my documentaries and people are watching, because how else would you know about a lot of this oil stuff? Sarah had basically been wiped off the map as it relates to who's who. And she's one of many, right? But you can put these stories together if somebody is bringing it back in the forefront, back for your viewing pleasure, right? And so then when you put these stories back out, don't try to Africanize it. right? Don't try to Africanize because you won't be blessed doing that. That's not an African story. So why try to Africanize this girl and put out that she was African? Like, don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. I just have a problem with that part. I love the fact that they're telling the story, but it's one thing that you're missing out. She was in Indian territory. She wasn't in Africa. She wasn't in Sudan. You know, you calling her African like she was goddamn in Ghana. No, she was in Indian territory. Why is it so hard for people to say that? It's annoying to me. It's so hard for people to say that. It's so annoying to me. These big oil tycoons were in Indian territory. Even the ones that were down in Texas. I did a whole documentary a whole episode on Spotify. Look at where they were from. They was all from Indian territory. They was all employing other people from Indian territory. They was all from there. They were from Oklahoma and moved down to Texas. And then they start employing other people in their community. And then they start building all kinds of railroads and to transport. People had these black folks, y'all, these colors. The ones that they had just said, fuck it, we're going to call all y'all Negroes and get it over with. That group of people need to be studied. Like they studying us today, let them study us, but we need to study that. That's what I be looking at them. The ones that came and they got slid on for sure. They can't, but it took the whole world to do a world war on them. World War II was just about them. It was just about them taking that oil. And it's been in the Saudis' hands ever since. Ever since. You know? Ever since. And so then how do we get it back? You know, you start small because you don't have any politicians that's willing to even write up anything on your behalf. So you write it yourself because you know what to say. Right. And then when you can get up enough guap to start lobbying big time, then you go lobby. But guess what's going to happen in this industry? You better have a military. And it better not be no paramilitary because who do the Arabs got? The Arabs got Mossad. You better be able to have all of your veterans in one spot. You better be able to have some kind of force behind you. And they better be in large numbers and willing to protect y'all in this industry as a union. You have to think about it that way. You have to think about it that way. You better be able to protect yourself as a union. As your own entity. Moving on your own heirs property as a union and a unit. And if Trump said that, then that's good. That's good that he said that. Because we do need to take responsibility. But you got to learn. You got to learn what's yours. You can't take responsibility of something that you don't know that your grandmama and your granddaddy was tied into. You can't take responsibility for something. Like I feel so bad for the people of Mississippi because it's like, you know, the marketing wise, they try to paint Mississippi as being someplace that's poor. It just annoys me because you know damn well Mississippi ain't poor with the amount of pipelines that's running in Mississippi. You know Mississippi ain't poor with the price of cotton. Mississippi still growing cotton. How is it poor? No, what it is you keep saying that because you know you're supposed to be paying these darkies that's here money because you on their land. You know we still alive. The descendants are still alive in every state. A lot of our family have been living in the same city for 100+ years. That puts them directly in the action of the world wars. World War II, at least, you know, World War I and World War II, technically. A lot of our families have been in the same area, guys, have not moved. And if you look at it like that, then you can look at the land with a greater scope, you know. Africans want to take out reparations. They get their ass beat trying to play around. There is another congresswoman from Seattle, very light, supposedly biracial, with no family members, and her explanation is she had a bad family background and was in foster care. Here's the thing, it's very, very, all that is suspicious to me. You know how hard it'll be to go from foster care to a politician? It'll be very hard. It'll be very hard. So it be giving feds to me, or it be giving foreign asset. Okay, you have to look at these stories and how they repeat to por favor. Like, we've heard that story before, and the last politician who pulled that story on us, she was up to no good, or he was up to no good, right? We later found out that they was XYZ, and so you probably would have the same outcome with that. A rapper Birdman supposedly got oil barges. Really? They said Brandy, the Norway family. No, Norway. Yeah, Norway. They said the Norway family still own their oil company from World War era. I don't know how true it is, but I did see that on the forum. That Brandy them still own their family oil from back in the day, the World War era. They was able to hang on to the property and pumping oil. So I wouldn't be shocked if it's some Negroes that's still in there, but I'm just shocked that it's not more. Because we were the oil tycoons, literally. We was the richest in the world due to oil. Like, people always say, they repeat now. They're not afraid to repeat that we were once the richest in the world, but they don't say how. Why? They just show like stores and, when they're showing Tulsa and stuff like that, all the areas, the Harlems, there were Harlems in multiple states. There were Black Wall Streets in multiple states. When they repeat that era and say we were the richest in the world, they don't never say how, why. They like, well, they was the richest in the world, and then they flash the camera on the shoe shine shop. No, nigga, it had nothing to do with shoe shine. It had nothing to do with shoe shine. It didn't. Go ahead and say oil. Okay, go ahead and say oil. Don't be scared. They be scared to say oil. Okay. Yeah, Mississippi is very, very, very wealthy. Very, very wealthy city. And it's still predominantly Black, and that's the crazy part. So the marketing is heavy as it relates to, you're poor. You can't do nothing without me. Secret malicious groups taking y'all out, burying you in shallow graves, killing you off your heirs property one by one. You got to look at all this type of stuff that's going on around you. It's still majority Black in Mississippi. It's just zoned in on an industry, whether it's cotton or whether it's oil or whatever, however. You got to zone in on something. Exactly. Let's see. Let's go up. Let me just go up. Where is everybody? Is everybody asleep? These are conversations that we need 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 people in here. These are conversations where we need people to be. I guess everybody on the line right now. I'm gonna need to do something where I tell people to get off the website. We live. I'm gonna need to be. Everybody probably on the line right now on the website looking up files. Now I got to set up another system to let people know when I'm going live so they can come off the website, come watch the lives. We're planning here, or we're discussing things here. Let's see. Lots of MAGA billionaires that run all this live in the state of Israel. Really? Well, that show's trying to get in our website for something. Like, what y'all need to see that you ain't already fucking saw? Like, it ain't nothing in that database that you need to see that you ain't already got access to see. It's just that you're trying to stop me from showing people. Like, you're trying to stop us from seeing stuff. That's so crazy. That's so crazy. That is so crazy to me. I've always said my family must have got they acres and a mule and something to own that much land. No, they had it before the whole 40 acres and a mule thing. Like when you really look at it, you know, some people was getting ready to double dip. You know, they stopped people with that 40 acres and a mule thing. There's people's gonna double dip because shit, black folks already had land. We had land way for that. We just see you. They said, okay, y'all got to come fight for the North now. So we're gonna put some boundaries on y'all head to fight for the North, but we still gonna give y'all some land for fighting. You know, you never gave them that land. You're supposed to give it to them because they fought, but they already had land. They was just gonna get some more land. You know, they already had land. These land patents predate the 40 acre and mule thing. So it is what it is. You know, that was just extra. There's no way we'd still be able to find land if we didn't get the 40 acres and the mule. We had way more than 40 acres. It's hard to just give a person 40 acres who got 4,000. Some of the largest plantations in America, and this is. I know what we need to do. It's a marketing issue that we're having as well. Because if I can change your whole mind about this whole system, plantations, then you would look at it differently. Like the largest plantation in Alabama was owned by 4 black families, you know, and you can cross state. That's what they were calling a property. It was just a property name. But for so long, we have related owning plantations to white people since the World Wars. We've been doing that. They've been doing that since the World Wars, you know. White people own the plantations. They were your master. They was whipping you with whips and chains. And that's the story. That's the story, guys. And as it relates to marketing, it seemed like what they did was just literally ignored us, wrote us out the store. Click like in here, guys. Maybe that'll get more people in here. Click like. We're talking about something very important. Click like in here, guys. Click like. Let me see. Thank you for the super chat. Just started doing my genealogy, and boy, do we have forms. Big Southeast. I love it. I want to say thank you for pushing me to do it, Queen. Yay! Congratulations on starting your journey. I'm telling you, you have never felt ancestral protection until you start looking for your people. It just hit different. When you start looking for your people, it just hit different. Somebody sent me a super chat. Thank you, Courtney. She said video frozen. Y'all can see me, right? I'm just not seeing this. Y'all can see me, right? She said the video frozen. Thank you so much, Chief Basketball, for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you, Maya. Maya said, thank you for all you do. Thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you, KLZ. I ain't never seen you before. You said, love your content. Thank you so much, KZL. I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. The real 50 MAGA billionaires. I meant MAGA was mentioned back in 1997. Don't under it then, but I didn't know it then, but I know now. This is you know, we got a lot of work to do, and you're gonna need somebody in place. You know, like I said, who can you trust? Who can you trust? You got to put politicians in place yourself. You know, you got to put politicians in place yourself at this point to start getting these industries back one by one. If you're in the trucking industry, and I don't know how you're gonna do that, but you got to start taking these industries back, no matter which industry you're in. Look around you, see who's operating the industry, man. If they're foreign, get them out of here. Shit. I just put oil fields on the line, right? I just typed it in to see what come up. Look. Wait, hold on. Let me take this out the screen. Let me take the super chat out the screen. Look. Like, y'all get on the line. Join the website. I'm telling you. 93,289 pieces of data came up about oil fields. Look at that. Location of Illinois oil fields. I put a lot of oil fields in American History Part 1. But it's just, I couldn't take up the whole book with oil fields, you know what I'm saying? Look. If we don't have an excuse, to be honest. We don't have an excuse, if I'm being honest. We just don't have an excuse. We don't have an excuse, guys. We gotta look into this stuff. Let me see. I wanted to click on Iraq oil fields, see what comes up. Iraq oil fields and petroleum. Let's see. That did pique my attention. Let's see. I'm gonna click on one of these. I'm gonna click on one of these and see what comes up. Let's see. Mexican oil fields. George Bush in oil fields. Let's see location of Illinois oil fields. Because I don't think I put no Illinois oil fields in the book. This image came up. Look at that. Look at that. Now, who's sitting up top of this oil get O-Block in here real quick. Who's sitting up top of these oil fields in Illinois? Loudon Field, Salem Field, Centrala, Clay City, Mill. Y'all get some people in here, man. Click like, share the video. This is important. Mill Shoals, Sisney, Barnhill, Cords, Olney, North Noble, South Noble, Cowling, Junction, Sandolph, Patoka, Tunty, Oilfields, Carlisle, Mount Carmel, New Harmony, Grayville, Flora. And look who did the study. I was just talking about redlining, right? How you was actually redlined off of oil property. Look who did this study. Federal Housing Administration, Division of Research and Statistics. Stop it. You was literally redlined off of oil fields, but they don't use that definition. They try to pretend like you was redlined off of white people's neighborhoods. No, they was redlined off of oil. That's the definition that people don't really look at. Who live in these counties? That's banned. McDonough, Clark, Jasper, Crawford, Florence. Like, you can't even see that. The whole damn county is fields. I mean, the whole damn county is oil. Richland. Y'all know somebody live in these counties? Clay County, Fayette, Clinton, Washington, Hamilton, Clark, Edgar, Coles, Macon, Pike. It's crazy. It's not crazy because I knew this stuff existed. Like I said, in American History Volume 1, for everybody who got that volume, y'all see the oil fields in there. What is this? Oh, that's the an aerial picture of it. This is look, click on this. Let's see what's George Bush. George Bush in oil fields. It's just I don't want to download it. I guess I go ahead and download it. Oh, he's literally inside of an oil field. Look at George Bush. That's when they start taking shit. That's when they start taking. Y'all make sure you get on the line so you can do stuff like this, especially you men. You need to know this stuff. Whether you're gonna move on it now, whether you're gonna move on it never, you need to know. You need to know stuff like this for conversation purposes to elevate your conversation, elevate the conversations that you're having. You know, industries of war. Look at that. Industries of war, gas and oil. Oil and gasoline fields of Oklahoma, flowing oil wells. I'm saying I'm just, we're just randomly clicking on stuff. Randomly. Look at those gushers. See, this is what did it say? Flowing oil well, oil and gas line fields of Oklahoma. I can't see what it says. I don't want to have to download it. Brick sub 09. Yeah, this is 4/18/1919, right? It's World Wars. It's a gusher. See, they took them gushers from up top of the land and dropped the pipelines up under the land. You see? That's what they did. It was a very sneaky thing to do. That's some very sneaky shit to do when you think about it. But when you're at war, they listed it as war. I've been listed it as war too. But they knew the World Wars was over oil. World War II was literally over oil. They call it industries of war. Shit, we might as well look at this other one too. Hold on. We might as well look at this other one too. Industries of war, gas and oil, gasoline and oil fields of Oklahoma. Oh, they want me to download this one. Oh no, it came up. Yeah, just oil, just fields of oil. Yeah. A lake. It says lake of oil. Child. We have a lot to live for, guys. I tell you, we got a lot to live for, a lot to do. People aren't supposed to be broke. People who live in these, especially, in America, guys, we supposed to have way more respect. If you're not gonna give us no slice of the pie, you need to at least respect us as the heirs. God damn. At least. You're supposed to be giving us a slice of the pie, but you sit here and give it to foreigners who were raised in a village. A lot of the Arabs was raised in a village. We was never raised in the village. We was raised with a fork and spoon. They just called us ghetto. They put the ghetto trope on us. If you saw, y'all saw the neighborhood I grew up in, because I actually posted my childhood house that was illegally demolished while I was online talking. But people call it ghetto, but the truth is we felt rich. We felt as rich as could be. We felt as rich as could be. Right in the middle of the hood. Yeah, people had arguments. People got shot at, killed, murdered on my same street. But we still felt so rich. So rich. We had the candy lady. Candy lady was my grandma. She wasn't my real grandma, but she was my grandma. She was just like the neighborhood grandma. She sold ices. Went to her house at school, bought ices. She treated us like a grandkid. Stayed at her house till my parents got off from work and helped her make ices, freeze cups, and it was just a good time. We felt so rich growing up, man. And they call that hood, and they put a trope on us to make us not fight for nothing. And then the people who was actually raised in the village, very poor, came over to America, as a success, as if they grew up successful, and took everything. Called us poor, called themselves rich, manifested it for themselves, and took everything. That's how they did it. And then they just wrote us out the marketing. Guys, they just literally wrote us out the marketing. They stopped marketing us. That's what happened. They stopped marketing us. So it's talking about swimming in it. Exactly. Swimming in it. Killers of the Flower Moon, but make it not niggas. Exactly. I've never seen this National Ex-Slave Mutual Relief Bounty and Pension Association. Look, I'm telling people to get on the line. That's probably why it ain't there's a lot of people in here, but it's not a lot of people in here because I'm telling you, people log onto the website and they don't log off. And you can log on. You don't have to log off. You know, only reason I even noticed is because some people was trying to log in, just trying to do shit, still trying to do weird shit. Trying to log in as admin, trying to skip protocols. Still weirdos, bro. But when I was in the system looking at this stuff, I noticed that people logged in and just never logged out. Just on there, just searching away. That's what it's for. That's exactly what it's for. Search away. Search away. You know, search away. In my eye. I already be just bringing these things up in casual conversation to engage people like common knowledge. Exactly. They were redlining folks off of their own lands. Exactly. And then if you control the marketing, you can control history. If you control the marketing, you can control history. You can do mind control. Like literally mind control was done by the people who control marketing. Because you can put out any story. All you got to do is keep repeating it. It's the Dr. Umar shit that he be doing when he just sit there and just keep repeating stuff over and over again. If you keep repeating stuff over and over again, then you're going to make people believe it eventually. You know, so you control the marketing. Just keep repeating the same story about us over and over again. We was redlined because we wanted to be on white people's property. That is never the case. We wasn't trying to get in white people's neighborhood. They couldn't cook, didn't smell good. You listen to old videos of the Negroes in that era. Listen to how they was talking about white people. They weren't really fond of that. They knew them people had just came off of boats. They knew that they had been in America. They knew those people came off of boats and they started getting all kinds of amenities, like just out the blue. Lake Lanier was literally made to provide water for people who were coming from Germany. You flooded a whole black city in order to get a water source, and that's in the Navy's archives. That's literally what not the Navy, the Army, that's what the Army said Lake Lanier was made for. They just never knew we'd find out that you flooded the city in order to do that. So that's just how diabolical you was towards us on our own property. Right? So thank you for the super chat. You said website's not working for you. It might be because what I mentioned before. You gotta take the VPN off of your you gotta take the VPN off. And if you're trying to, like, if your username has admin or something in it, it's going to automatically block you. But once you take your VPN off, just refresh your screen and it'll come up. Because it's working fine on everybody else's side. Only the people who I saw that had issues were the people who it blocked. And I went in and manually unblocked some of those people. But some of those people are just being weirdos in there. So they just came to the site to be weird and try to hack it. And, you know, so they still block. Those IP addresses are blocked. If your IP address is blocked, then you won't be able to use it from no device. You have to literally just create another one. Thank you for the super chat, Denise Chandler. There you go, my Chandler people. Get them, girl. Keep digging up, girl. We love you for being you. Thank you for loving me. I really appreciate that positive reinforcement. Thank you for the super chat. I just got something to my Cash App. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Autumn. I appreciate it, baby girl. You are amazing. I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Autumn. I love that name. Thank you, Enoch. Well, y'all got some good names. Okay, Enoch. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Sis. Thank you for your show. Thank you for joining the show. Guys, we wasn't going to be on here long. I just wanted to let y'all know what's going on. And of course, talk to y'all and let you guys know that we have a home. We have a home on the line. Oh, home on the range. Okay. Janice, your information and research is phenomenal. Such an inspiration. Love the hairdo. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Can you make sure I'm not blocked? Yes, Mrs. Whitlock, I can. Because that's probably the issue. Let me make sure you're not blocked. I'm gonna do it while I'm online. Let me see. Can I find you in here? There's a lot of y'all in here. I'm very excited about this. I know people's just minds are just as blown as mine be when I find good file sets. And I will say, let me see, Whitlock. Mm, MA. MA Whitlock? That's gotta be you. It's two Whitlocks in here. Let me see. Are you MA Whitlock? Or are you J Whitlock? Let me see. Let me see, guys. Hold my mule. Let me see. Hold my mule. Yeah, because I see you in here. I see you. I just need to get your IP address so I can make sure you're not. Yep. Yep. You were blocked. You was now that I see your username, I do remember seeing that. You were definitely blocked. Hold on. Hold my mule. Hold my mule. I got you. Hold my mule. Let me see. Can I find you again? There's a lot of traffic on the site right now. Let me see. Let me see, darling. Give me a second. Give me a second, darlings. This area, everybody on the line. That's why y'all wasn't on the live, because y'all right here on the line. I love it. Gosh, it's a lot of people on here. Let me see. I know it's gonna be some good content. Cause this website got the pictures, it got everything. I know some of y'all finna make some good. Just make sure you shout out the line, okay? Make sure you shout out the line. Let them know, okay? Let them know where you got it from. Cause Ancestry could never. Well, they could, but they don't. They fucking damn sure could. Cause that's a $1 billion company. We're not there yet. We don't even have it all the way how we need to be. This is with no investors. No, this is my little piggy bank. This is my little piggy bank, okay? Where do we get, stable? Ancestry is a multi-billion dollar company. They got investors. White owned, white investors. That's how they're able to have such a good system in the app. And, right now we're not really configured for the phone because the records are so big. We don't have, it's just 3 of us right now that's on the website. That's working, but one guy is working by default of the security issue that happened when my back-end developer was building it. So we gonna get there. But as for right now, like I really am excited. I really am excited. Very excited. Let me see. I'm trying to find you, little lady. I'm trying to find you. Let's see. Let me see. Yeah, there's a lot of people on here. Thank you for your patience. I'm gonna find you. Just trust me. Even if I can't do it while I'm on live, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you because I definitely see that you are a member. And I definitely feel like I remember seeing your name on the block list, but I couldn't unblock everybody, but I did unblock a lot of people. Um, let me see. One home meal, few more seconds. No, I did unblock you. I unblocked you earlier. You unblocked. You're unblocked. You're unblocked. You may have to, let me see what kind of device you're on. Okay, I see what kind of device you're on. You may have to turn your device like this instead of like this. It's better if you go in from a website, but I mean, not from a website, from a computer. But if you don't have a computer, turn your phone like this, because the files are so big. Your phone's gonna be, unless you got a lot of space on your phone. Turn your phone like this, and you may have to clear out your cache on your computer, on your phone some kind of way, in order for it to come back up. Because you're definitely on here. I'm looking right at you. I'm looking at your movements. You're in the site. You're actually on the search. I see you. Yeah, I see you in here. I don't know. Maybe I just read an old comment and you had already figured it out before I got to the comment. Yeah, I see you in here. I see you in here. Let me go to my comment section and see what's going on. I see you in there. I see you in there, love. Stevie B, welcome. Welcome to the line. Welcome to the line. Hold the line. Let me see. The website is uslineage.com, not usalineage.com, because that's a whole nother, some Chinese shit. You unblocked. You're unblocked. You're not blocked. You're not blocked. They have already begun creating content on these records. I am not. Look, I'm sure they have, because I knew the content creators was gonna get. It's people that's been on there all day. It was people start joining yesterday when I was talking, and they ain't logged out. So I already knew what was going on. I said, yeah, they finna be creating a lot of content. They finna be creating a lot of content, because I mean, it's the possibilities are endless. But I do want people to focus on their family. But if you're a content creator, shit. If you're a content creator, anything your mind can think of, you probably will find it, because it pulls from. When we get that budget, it's still some databases that we don't have. When we get that bag where we can really, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. It's US Lineage, uslineage.com. Go in from a computer if you can. Go in from a computer if you can, because the records, like some records you click on and it's not, it's only one file. But if you click on these records and it's a lot of files, your phone is gonna be trash. The record's gonna stack. I'm telling you, because we troubleshooted it on every phone. I mean, it take a lot of money for us to reformulate these records in order to look a certain way on the phone. We ain't got that kind of budget yet, okay? But just give us some time. Just give us some time. Just give us some time, okay? We got it. We got it like pretty good. Now let me show y'all an example. Let me go into a file that could be possibly really big. You never know what you're getting into in the box too. So you just don't know until you click on an ancestor, and you might click on an ancestor, and it's just a huge data set, and it's like, damn. I clicked on one of my ancestors, and I knew he had a lot of files, but it's just a lot. It's just a lot. You got to sift through a lot. That's why I said it's a real research site. It's not like a quick, you're just going to pull up census records and you're just going to pull up death, like vital statistics. No. You're going to pull up a lot of stuff. Let me give you an example. Let's pull up. What can I pull up? Let's see what the quartermasters got files in here. Well, they do, because I've looked up them before, but let me see. Quartermaster. Call my mule. 1 second. Let's see what comes up. Quartermaster. See, can I find a big file set real quick? Quartermaster generals. 295,000 files. Okay, like this. That's just the perfect example. Let me click back out and click back in so you can see what just happened. This is the perfect example. Perfect example. Let me click out, share my screen, and click back in. Okay, which one I just clicked on? I think I clicked on this one. If you do this from a phone, and all these records pop up, your phone's gonna be fucked. I'm telling you. Do this from a laptop. Do this from a laptop. Or your phone. I'm talking about it's gonna look like these files are gonna look stacked up top of each other. That's what it's gonna look like. Camps at Phillipsburg. See, all these files, these sets of files are files that I'm in a lot. I'm in these files a lot. You know. This is from 1780. From August 1780 to November 1783, Book A. Revolutionary War files. It's time out for people playing in our face, talking about who was here, who wasn't here, That's over. That's over. Because knowledge is power. Knowledge is real power. Knowledge is power. Lineage is power. That's where you get the power from. The more you know, the more power you have. Because I'm telling you, I don't know nobody from Tel Aviv, Israel. Why was they on this site before we launched it, trying to stop it? This is not illegal. It's not illegal for me to open a facility. It's not illegal for me to... I went through the whole process of opening a facility to get these records. I went through the whole entire process. Learning all of that stuff, learning temperature of the buildings, learning all of that stuff. But my plans were thwarted. In real time. So it is what it is. Maybe one day I'll still open up. Maybe one day I'll be able to get it done. But until then, this is the only way that I could share it with people. It's the only way. But I still have to be able to maintain this system and the integrity of the system. So they could have been trying to thwart it to get me in trouble. I don't know. You can't really get me in trouble because ain't no trouble with it. I went through all the props that they told me to go through. All the ID, all that kind of shit. Anything they told me I had to do, I did it. In order so I could open a facility. Now, if I would have been able to open a facility, I would have had physical copies. I would have had the ability to, get some of the microfilm and be able to digitize the microfilm, like all of that kind of stuff. The files that are under the ground in the caves. I would have been able to have all access inside those facilities, But this is what we have right now, guys. And it's a lot. So it's a lot. And we're going to get better. Like I said, this is just phase 1. Okay? Phase 1 of us trying this again to unpack our lineage, to end these diaspora wars. A lot of people came to my page as new people. They came directly from the whole diaspora war diaspora war debacle. And I'm just sick of it all. Don't try to tell us who's who. And this is our way of just saying, look, man, y'all shut up. Because y'all have no clue. Unless you can show me a record with your family last name own it from the 1700s. Don't say nothing. Don't say nothing to me. And the whole baby's a slave shit. Don't say nothing about that either, because you don't know what you're talking about. The story that I read on the live yesterday, you see just how somebody can become a baby of a slave. It was babies left over from the massacre that was done on that tribe. And that's all tribes. There were babies left over. You know? So, what are you going to call those babies if you control the media, you control marketing? What are you going to call those babies? Are you going to call those babies of Indians? Or what are you going to call them, babies of indigenous people? No, they're dark skinned. No, you're going to call them whatever you want to call them. You're going to call it, because it's reconstruction time. Let's reconstruct the story. You're going to call them babies of slaves. Okay? These people are putting the pieces of their lives back together after war was waged on them, you know, and they were supposed to be protected. Their nations, their countries were supposed to be protected. Many people don't even know America was full of countries, just like Africa is. It's full of countries. And the same thing that happened to us, it will happen to them eventually. They're going to turn it from countries to states. And they're going to take all the land from them. While they over here kikiing and brouhaha and laughing and nanny boo-booing at us. Talk about we don't know who we are. Give them 25 more years in Africa. They're going to pull the same shit. If they desire to. Because it seemed like to me, if they wanted to, they would have been did it. It must not be nothing over there for real. See how many oil fields are in Africa versus in America. How many oil fields are in Africa? You know, they have a reason to be over here on our land just willy-nilly. And to be fair, there were white people over here. I'm not saying it was zero white people over here. No, it was some white people that came over here and married in. It was. Some colonizers that came over here and married in. It wasn't a whole hell of a... They were never the majority, though. Never. That's why you had to bring the whole world in with you. Because you was not the majority. You're not going to be the majority in any new nation, in any new continent. You're not going to be the majority. You're just, if you're coming in as a colonizer, it doesn't even make sense that you come in as the majority. But that's the story that white people started telling. They started talking as if we was never the majority here. And then they started talking as if we came in as slaves. But then, like the record I showed yesterday, I told y'all a while ago that, some people were working on a database of slave ships. They got a whole National Geographic thing now. They got the black girl going diving as if she looking for slave ship remnants. Baby, those ain't no damn slave ships. I'm going to tell you exactly what kind of ship. Like I said, I can't wait for them to pull it. I can't wait for them to pull it. And I'm gonna use UGA database. I don't even have UGA database on here. I'm going to use UGA database to debunk them. I can use some of our files in here too. But I'm going to use UGA database to debunk them time they put it out. UGA? And not only UGA, a lot of land-grant colleges. Files go crazy. Their files go crazy. The files at them land-grant colleges go crazy. UGA files go crazy. Thank you, veterans. It says amazing work and what an accomplishment. Thank you so much. Thank you for the super chat, Ella J. Thank you. Awesome work, Wanda USA. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. Yeah. I'm gonna use UGA to debunk, because stop lying to people. Like at this point, we should be done with the lies. Let's be done with the lies once and for all. Like, stop lying. If you see a slave ship, fine. But boy, we got thousands upon thousands of Negro-owned ships. I think I read 2 records yesterday. I have folders full of these records on my computer. I could have went on and on and on. And the perfect thing about it is they showed the people. They had to, notate the people's skin color. They notated the people's skin color, eye color, where they was from, where they lived. They had all of this stuff on the water, and you got to think about it too. Why was they doing that? Why? There was some point in America where you know, if you white over here, boy, you better sure be connected to somebody. You better be one shade away from mulatto or octoroon or something like that. Quadroon. You was a quadroon type of white. You better be something. Cause you go to some parts of the South and they will kill you. They was killing white people in the South for a long time, you know, because of their nature. They didn't think white people were real humans. They thought they were diabolical. They thought they were, you know, evil. And they didn't know that, you know, some of them were. They were out to get your land. It's like they knew what these people's intentions was before it happened. And, you know, it's crazy that they knew. It's crazy that they knew. It's crazy that they knew. But thank God we're able to see this stuff before, in our lifetime. Thank God we're able to see this stuff in our lifetime. This is the genocide no one acknowledged. They are still waging war. Still, yeah, absolutely, Christy. On purpose, they left them to feel the terror and live in fear without psych help or meds. Yeah. Desperate to survive. Absolutely. Cobweb said castles. There's a long ruined wall somewhere in the middle of the country. Most gob, very low, mostly sometimes chest high. I think you're on the. Are you on the line? I think that I may have seen you. I may not have seen you. Seems like I seen your name on the line. My lineage goes back 1705. Love it. Colin Scotts, Williams. Probably go back further than that. Shit, you go into North Carolina. I pulled out a file in volume 2. I showed some family Bibles in volume 2. Go back to the 1400s. Put it in the book, and when you see the last names in the book, and it was black families, you know, make no mistakes about it. I found the files that correlate the Bible, the family Bible that goes back to the 1400s. They had their family tree inside the Bible. Goes back to the 1400s, Jones family, and it's all these different surnames connected to it. So even with the whole, you know, you got your slave master surname. Well, the slave master had the surname. The slave master had the surname in the 1400s. The slaves wouldn't even, like, how was this a black family in the 1400s in North Carolina with the name? But y'all say the slaves didn't get here to 1619 and the goddamn pilgrims didn't get here to 1620. So you got to make it make sense. You got to make it make sense. Yeah, how the slaves got here before the pilgrims did. Nobody has ever even made that make sense. The Plymouth Rock didn't land until 1620. Y'all said the 20 Negroes got here in 1619, and I also want to bring to your attention before I start holding y'all hostage for the night. If the pilgrims got here in 1620 and the slaves got here in 1619, and that was actually during the Indian Wars, then what happened to them people that got out the boat? You in the heart of the Indian Wars during that time. I'm talking about them killers was fighting. They was fighting. Then why did them 20 people come over here? Did they come over here to get killed? If you're in the heart of the Indian Wars in the 1600s, I'm talking about that was the height. Then who those people? They got out the boat to get killed. You know, it was some real killers over here during that time. They wasn't fucking around. They would go get your ass gone. The temperament that we have today is not what they had. Those were some different type of Negroes. Do you hear me? They had something to protect. They had land to protect. They had their land to defend. It is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, y'all join the website. I'm telling you, you know, people may not like me online. These YouTubians, they may not promote what I'm saying. However, It is what it is, you know. You either want to help the people or you're not. They should be promoting the website. You know, they know they ain't got the records. They know I've been had the records, which is crazy. That people act like they're allergic to calling my name. Now look at this now. Look, it was the height of the wars. The wars was already happening. This 1609 to 1646. The Powhatan Wars. In Virginia now. But then in the middle of this war, y'all dropped 20 and odd niggas off. In the middle, you know, folks lie so much. You know, these folks lie so much. In the middle of this war, in the same area, now, cause they said the 20 and odd niggas came from Africa and got dropped off in Virginia, right? But it was a actual war going on. So they got dropped off to die. Because they knew who Africans was. Black people during that time knew exactly who the Africans was. If you get off the boat and you were African, they was killing you. They knew who the Spanish was. And the Spanish was dark skinned and they was killing them. They was killing them in the South. That's why it's a Yamasee and a Yamasee tribe. It's two different tribes that was once the same people, but one tribe had a Spanish interpreter inside the tribe, and the people pressed up on it like, who is this goddamn nigga y'all got with y'all? It's deep. I know about everything happening in Georgia because I'm from there. I mean, it's very interesting. They was killing Spanish. The Spaniards never was able to get on the inside of Florida. They were lying. They held these people out at the coast. The Spaniards were never able to get inland from the coast of Georgia. That's just how many seamen and black masters and black mates you had on the water. These people were not getting in. Now, they was able to come up through some of the river systems, but even when they came up through the river systems, they got halted at a point. You can't go no further than this right here. Now, what you need? Okay, and you get your shit and you don't back down that river. Gone now, you here? And if you don't go and then you try to pull something crazy, you ended up dying and getting dumped in the river like DeSoto did. And a lot of other Spaniards that came over here that they try to paint as some kind of heroes. No, those people got killed. They got murdered. Estebanico came over here and got murdered. And they were dark-skinned. Them people, the darkies over here in America, just like we could tell the difference from the Africans and shit today, they could tell the difference then. And we got more shit to make ourselves look. We got surgery. They can make their nose look like ours, their hair look like ours, their makeup look like ours. All kind of tricks and shit today. And we can still tell the difference. That's what I'm saying. It's all kind of tricks today, and we can still tell the difference. Like, we still know who's who today. You know, they know who's who. They was actual warriors. We're not actual warriors. We're reactive. We're reacting. We're reacting to this newfound history that we're coming across. You know, it's gonna eventually awaken a warrior. You know, some men, I'm talking about as it relates to men. Men are warriors anyway. You know, they're just men are just really contained. Men are just really contained. And y'all not as emotional as we women are as it relates to topics like this. You know, so the men knew then, the men know now. The women knew then, the women know now. We know who's who. Them niggas was getting killed. They were not over here. If you look at the story of Donna Maria, when she was kidnapped, she led Cortez and them where? To Montezuma's territory. Cortez and them didn't know that Donna Maria, who was also dark skinned, I put an actual picture of her in the book in volume 1. They still honor her in Florida. They knew she was a black woman, dark skinned, chocolate. You know, they have bronze sculpture of her to depict that rich skin tone that she had. When Donna Maria was kidnapped by Cortez, she led Cortez to Montezuma's territory. Because everybody knew she was missing. Everybody knew she had been kidnapped. Now, they didn't have cell phones. They didn't have Instagram. How did they know? I don't know what their means of communication was. But Montezuma knew that she was missing. But the territories kind of border each other. You got Florida and Georgia, Alabama, and Florida territories where they was at. So, maybe they was able to get the word fast. They got boats. They had horses and all kind of stuff. They said the horses came from Spain. Well, there was horses over here too. But if you control the media, if you control marketing, you would just erase a group of people out the story. You just erase them all the way out the story. So, just erase them out the story. That's the quickest, easiest way to operate. Erase them. She led them to Montezuma territory, and then what happened? Majority of Montezuma's warriors were murdered. 90%, 95% of them were murdered. They said Cortez was able to escape, but that's up in the air too, because who wrote the story? Now, Florida, when you go down in Florida and start reading their archives, Florida got this shit well documented. Florida got this shit so documented. They got this shit documented as if it was done in 1999. Just like Georgia has Trelita very much well documented. The story of Trelita, the princess that was kidnapped here, very well documented. And it's like, well, damn, I didn't know this was so documented. You don't know until you go into that area and then you see that now they wrote this story down because they said Trelita's still killing people today. Somehow her energy is still here today, killing folk. Anybody who go around her grave messing around, they die. And that was, a lot of people have died fucking around that lady grave. She was a Indian princess who was kidnapped. And they say, no, was no princesses here. Was no kings here. It's none of that. When you go on the line, you're going to find a whole lot of stuff. If there was no princess, no king, it would be no titles of nobility act put on the law books. It would be none of that. No, it was some people here. It was some people here. You just scared to say it out loud. So let's say the quiet part out loud. Go ahead and say it. Trelita looked like me. Trelita sound like a nigga name. The name y'all would call ghetto today. How many leaders do we have in our family, for Christ's sakes? Lolita, one of my cousins named Lolita. I tell you who it wasn't. She wasn't a Becky. She wasn't a Good Jeans. What's that lady name who just did that commercial with Good Jeans? She didn't have blue eyes, blonde hair. But she's still killing people today. It is what it is. Power never dies. Power is only transferred, just like energy. Energy never dies. Energy is only transferred. Pseudo power dies. Pseudo power dies with the person who held it. Real power, like heirs property, like lasts forever, it never dies. That's why you have the term forever attached to the land patents. It says forever. It don't say pseudo forever. It don't say forever until. No, it says forever. That's power. It never dies. So if you kill 1 million of us off, it still never dies. The land still says forever. The bloodline never dies. It's too many of us. You don't even know how many of us. They don't even know how many of us is in America. That's the sad part. They don't even know how many of us it is. It's a lot. It's a lot. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably 1 billion plus niggas here in America. Shit, it's probably 500 million of us in Georgia. It's probably 1 billion niggas in Texas. If I had to just take a guess. If I had to just take a wild guess. You don't know how many niggas is in America. You don't know. They don't add us to the census. And guys, that's the crazy part. I'm 41. I've never seen a census enumerator before. Never. Never came to my area, ever. I've stayed in great neighborhoods. Never seen one. I didn't see them in 2020. Stayed in a great neighborhood. Downtown Atlanta. Didn't see no census enumerators. Now, if you look at how we are finding our ancestors now via the census, think about how generations of our family members will have to find us if we're not on any of these census records. So you take a whole group of people and you omit them from these records, by just not coming in their neighborhood, calling them hard to reach places, literally labeling them as HTR places. That's why I say they don't know how many black people are in America. It's their own fault. They don't know. You got these hard to reach places, and it just so happened they're all urban areas. But you did that so that you can control the money. But what you didn't know was going to happen was you were not going to know how many people are here. You're not going to be able to get an accurate census of how many people are here. Everybody don't send their kids to public school. A lot of people homeschool their kids. It is what it is. And if you have done vital statistics that way, if you have done a count that way, then that means you know exactly, you can get a good understanding of how many people are here, However, you don't know. And then our kids and our family, 50 years from now, they may be trying to find us on the census. We don't even exist on the census. So it's important that we get and do this shit now, because our names is not on these vital statistics. Like, we got birth records and death certificates, but as it relates to the census, the things that most genealogists use, a lot of genealogists, when I came on the scene, guys, it was so crazy. People were only using the census records to put a story together. And I'm like, how are people charging? I know one girl, she was charging $1,700, but she was looking at the census records and the Indian of the Dolls Roll. But you still can't get a full story just with that. It was just mind-boggling to me. Like, how are y'all putting a family tree together with just the census? You won't be able to put no family tree together with census when we get 80, when we become up in age. We're not on the census. We're not on the census, guys. So we got a lot of work to do. When I tell you some people didn't want to give no info to the census, yeah, exactly. And how many of that's why I said you cannot just use the census records to put a family tree together to find what your family members were doing, because some of them did not give their info. Some of them gave nicknames. A lot of these people were making liquor, bootleggers, like I talked about before. Shit, my great grandma was bootlegger. Shit, she had about 4 legs. We know her last name, but the public, shit, she went by 4 last names to the public. Hell, when I was growing up, my great grandma was still selling dollar shot. We used to call it Grandma Aretha dollar shot. All the men would be coming on her porch, getting that shot of liquor when they get off from work so they can go home $1, because she stayed in the dry county. But she was the liquor supplier in the county. They all knew her by a different name. We were only her family knew her real name. Everybody else knew a different last name and a different first name. That was my childhood. My grandma sold liquor as a child, and she was a big time liquor. She used to make liquor before I was born. I'm saying before I was born, she was already an old lady when I was a kid. She was my great grandmama. She was already an old lady when I was a kid, but even as an old lady, she was still selling dollar shots. And boy, they used to line up on her porch, boy, in the 90s, because they would have to go over to the next county in order to get alcohol. Well, she stayed in a little city, a small city in a dry county. So I watched her sell dollar shots. And then another member of my family, he had his own liquor brand. He was killed outright during Prohibition. He was one of the first people that was killed during Prohibition. Killed them, took his liquor brand, all of that. They put that Prohibition in place because our people was making a lot of money off alcohol. They was making a lot of money off of alcohol. And so they had been chasing our people, and I'm saying, and then what kind of, look at the huge industry alcohol is today. We got kicked out of a lot of industries, guys. Like, it's just sickening. The more I think about it, it consumes my life sometimes. Like, we got kicked out of a lot of shit, man. All the top industries, we were there. All of the top industries, guys, we have made a mark. They created the whole Prohibition to get us out that damn industry, to take that industry from us. Sat there up under us, learn how to make it. And then use the federal government, use the government in order to take it. That's crazy, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, now we had a lottery. It's just everything. The lottery, running numbers. You know, can't nobody deny us. You got to be a fool to deny us. You got to be ready to have all your good karma vanishing. Like, all your good karma is about to be gone. When you start denying us, they start taking the little good karma that you have. It starts depleting. Because you was never supposed to deny us. Now, we let you on the land. You was never supposed to deny us, though. You wasn't never supposed to not let our descendants know who we were. You was never supposed to not tell our descendants how great we were. You were never supposed to just push the negative about us to our descendants. You was never supposed to do that. You know, never. You know, so once you start doing that, now you got to start doing weird shit. Like the ancestors never told y'all to do no sacrificing. The ancestors never told y'all to do that. But you know, we could talk about this all night. I want y'all to join the website, get on the line. It's the weekend. So y'all got some time to research, you know, take your time. Research it. Like I said, you ain't gonna be able to research. We can be on this site, guys, for the next 20 years. We ain't gonna be able to look at all these file sets, but hey, you got to start somewhere. I love you guys. They monetize and regulate around our creations. Absolutely. Yep. Corn liquor. We're making all kind of liquor. Corn liquor, fruit liquor. You know, all kind of liquor, all kind of spirits. Wine, muscadine wine. Shoot. Man, please, they had the plum wine in the South where I'm at. Well, where I grew up at. They have these plum trees, the small plums. You know, they got the big plums now, but you rarely see the small plum trees. I don't see them up here in Atlanta at all. They might be in Alabama though. Those small plum trees. They was making it out of those plums. What is the website address? It's US Lineage. Hold on, USLineage.com. 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 But they were making liquor out of those small plums are so good. They're so sweet. And yeah, a lot of stuff was taken. Fermented apples they was making liquor out of. You know, flavoring it with actual fruit. I don't see stuff like that being done. It just seemed like now liquor is just poison, you know, because it's just made out of what? Sugar? Where they heat up sugar. I don't know how they do it, but I know it got something to do with just a sugar process. It's like poison. It's like poison. Thank you so much, Chief Bass. He said, Queen Janice is loved by me. Thank you so much. I love y'all too. I really do. We've been in this for a long time. It seems like we locked in forever though. Like we locked in because we've learned a lot. We've unpacked a lot of stuff together. You know, guys. It's gonna be a journey, but hey, we got to get it done because we're not on the census, guys. We have to keep ourselves in history because they're gonna take us out of history, come hell or high water if we let them. Love like they just moved into everything and created nothing. Yep, that's basically what had happened. That's basically what had happened. Anyway, guys, I didn't want to keep y'all on here long. I do see that what I have created with the line got less people on live now because everybody is on the line, which I'm proud of. I know this is of importance to everybody. Take some time this weekend for those of you who work 9 to 5. Take some time this weekend. Make you a schedule. Sit down at your computer. Give yourself 2 hours. Give yourself 3 hours or however long you can take it before the kids start screaming at you, and try to find some stuff about your family, some records related to your family. Put in your city that you live in, see what comes up, your state, and it's going to be just thousands of data sets. That's what I'm saying. This is for researchers, just where you have to take your time and really schedule yourself with doing research. I'll turn us all into researchers before it's all over with, guys. I'll turn us all into researchers before it's all over, because we got a lot to get done and we got a lot to do for the sake of our children. Everybody else is fighting for theirs. We got to do something. I love y'all. Thank you for joining the show. Please share the Lineage website with someone in your family who you think could help you, and y'all just kind of tag team and find the files together. Now, don't share your login, because that might lock you out. If your login is being used by 2 different IP addresses, it'll lock you out automatically. So don't do that. But share the site with them. Let them know to join the site and get it done a little bit quicker. But anyway, I love y'all so much. I will see you guys next time. Good night.